Hi, this is Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and you're listening to No BS Job Search Advice Radio. This is a show where I like to spend about 15 minutes on Monday morning speaking with you about some element of job search, because I believe that job hunting doesn't have to be hard, difficult, painful, or even take as long as it does for so many of you. The skills needed to find a job are different than the skills needed to do it. And the fact of the matter is, most of the time, you folks don't really do a good job of interviewing. You don't do a good job of coordinating your job search. And as a result, you suck. It's really that simple. Your work sucks. And, work on interviewing and finding work sucks. So what I do is try and spend a little bit of time Monday morning speaking with you about job search to help you do a better job. Now, this show is brought to you by two sponsors. The first one is Audible. And if you go to audibletrial.com/The Big Game Hunter and sign up for a free trial, you'll get a complimentary audio as part of your trial. And I know you like audio. You listen to my podcast, right? Second sponsor is consultingassignments.com. Consultingassignments.com is a site where you can find and fill consulting assignments, full-time consulting positions, temp to perm, and contract to hire opportunities anywhere in the world, completely free. Posting a job or a resume is free. Searching jobs and resumes is also free, as is the ability to contact one another. The only thing this site charges for is if you're going to feature a job or a resume, it is, get this, $10 for 30 days. In other words, it's next to nothing. If you're going to feature a resume, actually you don't really need to do that, but it's your choice. It'll highlight your resume that much more. Again, consultingassignments.com. Now, sometimes you go to an interview and you just feel like this is crash and burn time on the interview. I wrote an article many years ago called Why Interviews Die. And the fact is that some interviews, you just feel, flushing down that toilet. And sometimes, what's happening is they misread something in your resume or they're preoccupied. So I thought I would do a show that would talk with you about some of the signals that you'll get in the course of an interview that kind of lets you know that it's just not going right. And you may be delivering your lines perfectly, but they're just not paying attention. And that's really the starting place. They're not paying attention. They just seem distracted. As a result, you're not getting full attention. Now, this can happen for a lot of reasons. One is work is pulling at them. There's something in their workday that they need to address. Easy way to respond to it, just very simply say, hey, I can't help but notice you're a little distracted. Would it be better if we rescheduled for another time? You may sense it in person or see it in person. You may sense it over the phone where you're just not getting their attention. Just offer them the opportunity to reschedule. You'll be amazed at how appreciative they are, or they'll simply say, no, that's okay, and you'll pull them right back in. Don't ignore it, but just be aware that the interviewer just seems distracted. Now, another way you can recognize a problem is if the interview is a lot shorter than you've been led to believe. I remember when I first started recruiting many years ago, one of my mentors, who was nicknamed Swami for reasons I have no idea what it was, but I guess because he was the mystic one who knew all things about being a recruiter, he was given that nickname. So Swami told us one story about someone he was representing for a firm, and 10 minutes after the interview started, and again, this is a full-time position in New York, in the days where phone interviews didn't exist. It's an in-person interview. It's a 9 o'clock interview. At 9:10, the phone rings. Ugh. So, and the guy, Swami, answers the phone. Hi, how'd it go? Knowing full well that it didn't go well. It went great. Really? Yeah. I was there. You told me to call right after the interview, and I did, but it took me a little while to find the payphone. A 10 minutes, including the hunt for the payphone. And I couldn't get one right away, so I had to wait outside. Oh, no 10-minute interview is a good one. I'm just going to tell you that point blank. No 15-minute interview is a good one. And in this particular case, of course, the person wasn't hired. Now, if you get a short interview or a shorter one than the recruiter told you it's going to be, it did not go well. I don't care what they say. No, I got what I needed. Well, that can be code for we've actually chosen someone else. Didn't have time to reach out to the recruiter to cancel the interview. So we gave you a quick courtesy, and I'm going back to my desk because I've already made an offer and it's been accepted. Like I said, it is rarely good news when the interview is shorter than you've been led to believe. Next signal that the interview just isn't going well, they don't really ask any tough questions. Now, I'm not talking about brain teasers. To me, those aren't tough questions. Those are stupid questions. But they really don't probe in any depth. You're just getting the superficial questions about your work and your responsibilities instead of the tough ones about the challenges that you faced to go into it. And no one's probing any further beyond simply the superficial. You always want to feel stress on the interview. And it's the stress of being asked a tough question that really causes you to go into detail about what you did, how you went about doing it, or what you know about a particular subject. If they don't do it, unless this is just an HR interview, even there, they can go into more detail about what you did and how you went about doing it than just simply say, tell me about what you did. They're interested in it if they probe more. They're not interested if they don't probe at all. Another thing that signals their lack of interest is they really don't take any time to sell the firm or the job to you. The fact is, if a company is interested, they want to get you interested. So they spend some time selling. I know of no company, unless they're acting stupidly, that doesn't think that selling their opportunity is important to get you on board. So they'll ask you if you have any questions, and they'll give you a chance to get some resolution. They'll talk with you about your first 3 to 6 months once you come on board. They'll talk with you about career path. They don't do any of that stuff. They are probably not interested because you don't matter enough to them to sell to you. So recognize that as a signal. Now, if they don't talk about salary, if they don't really care what you're earning or what you're looking for, they're probably not interested. I feel like I'm doing a Jeff Foxworthy show today. If they don't ask you about salary in the course of your interview, you might not be someone they care about. And I'll simply say that it's true because there are people, I'm just going to use low numbers. Hi, I make $40,000 a year. I'm looking for 90. They're going to reject you. If they don't care enough to ask the question to find out about your compensation, there's a message in that. So recognize it. If you want to explore, just simply say, I couldn't help but notice you didn't ask about my compensation. Are you curious about that? Yeah. Sorry, I was just distracted. Again, it pulls them back into the conversation. By the way, I'm on Periscope as well. I'm going to sign off on Periscope right now. And folks, you can catch the rest of this on YouTube. Channel is The Big Game Hunter TV, and I do videos daily about job search and hiring. Take care. So I just signed off on Periscope. That's good. Now back to you on YouTube and as Google Hangout. So one last thing I'll bring up that's a signal that they're not really interested is they don't really talk about next steps. Or if you've asked them about it in the course of your Q&A period, where you're asking them questions about the position, about the firm and such, and you've asked about it, if they give you a real cursory answer, then they're not really interested. Look at it from your view. My goodness. Well, I'm just going to continue on because Blog Talk Radio cut me off for some reason. So I'm just going to continue on with YouTube and say that if they don't ask you about your or talk with you about next steps, there's a message in that, because from their vantage point, you are worth them taking the time to sell. Every employer that's interested, when asked about, so what's next steps here? If they just talk about, well, we're going to get back to the recruiter, or we'll get back to you in 3 weeks because we've got a lot of people scheduled, this thing has crashed and burned. If they're not getting specific with you, then they've given you a signal that they're not really interested. So understand these messages that firms give in the course of their interview about how you did, their level of interest. Maybe, often it has nothing to do with you. Often it has everything to do with them and their perception of you, actually their perception of need. So by that I mean one of two things. Things have changed for them and they've made an offer or have zeroed in on someone or two that they're really interested in and don't feel the need to go into great detail with you because they're going to hire one of these two people. Maybe you got to them a little late and they really do have finalists. No matter. I'll just simply say that their need in their mind has changed. You're not important anymore. And lastly, certainly, well, actually two things. One is they made a mistake in inviting you in for an interview. They misread something in your resume, or they were told something inaccurately by the recruiter. That's a mistake, has nothing to do with you. So that's another reason. Lastly, you stank up the joint. They're not interested because you said something obnoxious, did something obnoxious, or just gave the wrong answer too many times for them to be interested. If that happens, learn your lessons. Afterwards, spend a little time in review, figure out the mistake that you made. When you get the rejection email or the rejection call, just simply ask them, understand you went a different direction. I'm not here to argue with you. I just want to learn from the experience. Where did I come up deficient? Where did you see me not being a fit? Now, deficient's a very important term. I'll just simply say that by asking them about deficiencies, what you're able to do is to get a clear picture of where the failure was, so you can take that for next time. So those are some of the signals about how an interview went south on you. I'll simply say I have a lot more information on my website, including the original article, which is called Why Interviews Die. You'll find that in the blog on my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us. Go over to the site. There's a lot there that you can learn by going exploring. I'll mention to you that for now, there's a lot of content available through tabs on the top of the page. I'm moving that all to the blog. So you can start off with the tabs on top. If you don't see something that makes sense for you, go over to the blog. There's already 700 pieces of content there, and you'll see there's a lot more that I'm moving over. So again, thebiggamehunter.us. Visit the website, go exploring. I also want to mention that the site, you can search positions I'm recruiting for, post your resume to more than 50 places. A lot of good stuff to help you as a job hunter. And if we're not already connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request at linkedin.com/in/thebiggamehunter. I accept connection requests from people worldwide, except if you're a scammer or spammer or look like one, except if you're a third-party recruiter. If your current firm is trying to hire someone, send me an email at jeffaltman@thebiggamehunter.us. Let me know who to contact and whether I should mention your name. I'd love to help your current firm staff positions. Finally, over the weekend, I just released a new ebook, No BS Resume Advice. How how does yours measure up? It's a 25 to 30 page guide to help you with writing your own resume. And in there, I provide a link, a special link to people who order the book through Amazon. I don't have it yet on my website, but through Amazon, if you order this book, you'll get $25 off my resume critiques. So order a resume critique through the link that's in the book, again, specifically through Amazon, and you'll get $25 off a resume critique from me. So I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I hope you found this helpful. Hope you have a great day, and I'll be back next week with more no BS job search advice. Take care.